TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dubs the successive victories versus Iran as a new Purim miracle. U.S. President Donald Trump warns we are down to the final moments vis-à-vis Iran's nuclear program. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei cautions the United States against striking Iran. Israel is celebrating the festival of Purim, which commemorates the redemption of the Jewish people from Persian annihilation, as is recounted in the biblical scroll of Esther. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu joined police cadets for a biblical reading of the scroll, underscoring a new significance to the story of Esther.
The conditions were very difficult. Every time there was pressure. We stayed 3 days at home without going out. We couldn't get things because the scroll of Esther is a book of redemption of the Jewish people against the adversaries. We didn't rise up in front of the windows. Destroy us. We shut every generation, and we didn't go out at all. All the doors were locked. 2,500 years ago, an adversary rose against a lot of who wanted to destroy a lot of gunshots, and we're not accustomed to the Jews from the face of the earth. May Allah help us. Now, Allah willing, the situation will get better, years and all things will be resolved. An adversary has risen again the Jewish people from that same land. He also wants to destroy and eliminate the seed of the Jews from the face of the earth. And heroes like you have risen for us, the heroes of our people, and with cunning, heroism, and courage, we have turned the tables, and we are breaking the axis of Persia. This is what is happening these days. History repeats itself, at least the people of Persia are the same people. History also repeats itself with this new Purim miracle. This miracle is thanks to you, thanks to our heroic soldiers, our heroic warriors, the policemen and policewomen who stopped the disaster with endless bravery, and we fought back with an ongoing war.
It's important to know that while Israel celebrates its redemption per the biblical book of Esther, a standoff between the United States, Israel versus the Islamic Republic of Iran is evidently intensifying, with prospects of a confrontation evidently drawing near. This was explicitly stated by U.S. President Donald Trump last week.
There'll be some interesting days ahead, that's all I can tell you. You know, we're down to final strokes with Iran. That's going to be an interesting time. And we'll see what happens. But we're down to the final moments. We're at final moments. You can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
The United States is keen on reaching a diplomatic solution that would prevent the Ayatollah regime from attaining nuclear weapon capabilities. In a letter sent by the American leader to the Islamic Republic's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, President Trump reportedly leveled a scathing warning of far-reaching consequences if the obstinate rejection of diplomacy persists. However, in response, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is seemingly digging in, blatantly claiming he had not received any letter. Moreover, Khamenei claimed that while he regards the United States as an untrustworthy actor, the leader of the terror regime in Tehran explicitly stressed that talks with the United States would only reinforce tensions upon the Islamic Republic.
Some inside Iran keep insisting on the issue of negotiations. Why don't you respond? Why don't you negotiate? Why don't you sit down with America? I want to make it clear, if the goal of negotiations is to untie the knot of sanctions, then negotiating with this U.S. administration will not achieve that. In fact, it will only tighten the knot. Negotiating with this government will only increase pressure. I told officials a few days ago in a meeting that the U.S. are raising new demands, proposing new expectations, and putting forward excessive new demands. The problems will be even greater than what we face today. Therefore, negotiations will not solve any problems or untie any knots.
At the backdrop of intermittent chants by his followers calling for the death of America, death of Israel, and death of England, Ayatollah Khamenei warned the United States not to confront Iran militarily.
America threatens military action. In my view, this threat is irrational. A war, starting a war, or delivering a strike is not one-sided. Iran is capable of delivering a counterstrike, and undoubtedly it will respond. I believe that if any wrong move is made by the Americans and their agents, the ones who will suffer the most are them. Of course, war is not a good thing, and we are not seeking war, but if anyone takes such action, our response will be decisive and certain.
The Iranian supreme leader went on to claim that if he would decide to attain nuclear weapon capabilities, the Islamic Republic could achieve that goal, and irrespective of President Trump's remarks, the United States could not prevent it.
Regarding the nuclear weapon that is often mentioned, that they won't let Iran acquire nuclear weapons. If we wanted to develop nuclear weapons, America would not have been able to stop us.
In light of Ayatollah Khamenei's claim, it is important to re-highlight deep concern articulated by the International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi in reports he had circulated amongst member states of the agency's Board of Governors, explicitly stating in a restricted document on the Non-Proliferation Treaty Safeguards Agreement with the Islamic Republic of Iran that the significantly increased production and accumulation of high-enriched uranium by Iran, the only non-nuclear weapon state to produce such nuclear material, is of serious concern. Moreover, Grossi repeatedly amplified that Iran was not cooperating with the agency on inspections, and where it had cooperated on open probes, quote, Iran has neither provided technically credible explanations for the presence of uranium particles of anthropogenic origin at undeclared locations in Iran, nor informed the agency of the current locations of the nuclear material and or of the contaminated equipment involved. Therefore, the IAEA Director General determined that the agency will not be in a position to provide assurance that Iran's nuclear program is exclusively peaceful. Nevertheless, during a trilateral meeting on Iran's nuclear program by delegates from China, Russia, and the Islamic Republic, Tehran's Deputy Foreign Minister and Chief Nuclear Negotiator blatantly claimed that the Ayatollah regime's nuclear program was under immense scrutiny by the IAEA.
Iranian nuclear program is peaceful in nature. It is under the surveillance of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Iran is receiving huge inspections from the IAEA, and our nuclear program has never been diverted to non-peaceful purposes.
Beijing's top diplomat, for his part, urged the West at large and the United States in particular to lift sanctions against Iran as soon as possible, which would pave the way to diplomacy.
Today, the deputy foreign ministers of the three countries successfully held a Beijing meeting on the Iranian nuclear issue between China, Iran, and Russia, issued a joint statement, which is an important step in the right direction. We will also strengthen communication with other parties to the Iranian nuclear issue and urge them to show political sincerity and return to peace as soon as possible. We can still strive for it and cannot give up easily. Unilateral sanctions will only intensify conflicts, while dialogue and negotiation are the only option.
It is important to know that the third-party nation to be most affected by the Trump administration's maximum economic pressure campaign is no other than China, which had enjoyed over 90% of all energy product exports by the Islamic Republic of Iran. Meanwhile, the navies of Russia, China, and the Islamic Republic of Iran concluded a trilateral exercise in the Gulf of Oman, dubbed Maritime Security Belt 2025, during the course of which they had conducted joint maneuvers and drilled the inspection and release of a vessel hijacked by simulated terrorists, per Russia's defense ministry. In its statement, the Russian Defense Ministry further noted, quote, "For 2 days, the crews of the warships conducted both daytime and nighttime live-fire exercises, using heavy machine guns and small arms to engage targets simulating unmanned boats and aerial drones of a mock adversary." It concluded by highlighting that after successfully completing the naval phase of the drills, the ships returned to the port of Chabahar in the Islamic Republic of Iran, where a final assessment and closing ceremony took place. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. TV7 Israel is a non-profit ministry with all of our productions exclusively reliant on your generosity. Therefore, if you're blessed by the content of our programs, I would like to encourage you to support TV7 Israel. You can do so by donating via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, I'd like to encourage you as ever, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach v'chag Purim Sameach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.